Are you a coder and a cricket lover? ICC and NIUM have launched a first-of-its-kind global hackathon.
That is huge!
Register now to be a disruptor and help change the way fans experience the game. You know what's common between developers and cricketers? Both of them need to be flexible and adapt to new situations. They both succeed through passion and commitment. We are bringing you the best of both worlds in the next in Hackathon. Register now.
Hello everyone and welcome to the first session of Next in Hackathon presented to you by ICC and NIUM. So today we are here present to understand the theme explanation, which is the theme explainer session, which we have been waiting for a long time. So let's get into it and understand what ICC and NIUM presenting Next in Hackathon is all about. A global cricket hackathon. What are the scopes? What are the expectations of the jury members, of the mentors? How the problem statements would be working around? What is expected of a certain track out there? What are the tracks? How you could build your best idea and work along with it, as well as we'll be taking you through the entire structure of the hackathon, understanding your questions, answering the questions, and taking you through all the no's and do no's of the hackathon. So today we have with us on the panel Finn Bradshaw. So Finn works. So Finn works in Dubai as at the International Cricket Council's head of digital. Previously, he led the digital strategy for the Australian Open at Tennis Australia and established Cricket Australia's digital program. So let's welcome Finn to the panel. Hi, Finn.
Hi, Kaushik.
Hello.
And hello to everyone else on the chat right now.
Yeah, great to have you, Finn, on the panel with us. So also to introduce to everyone, Finn is also one of the jury members for the ICC NIUM Presents Next in Hackathon, a global cricket hackathon, first of its kind hackathon. So over to you, Finn, if you could just let us know what was the thought behind coming up with the first of a kind global cricket hackathon.
Yeah, sure. Probably first I should apologize to everyone that came hoping that Dinesh Karthik would be here, but unfortunately he's stuck with me instead. So the real inspiration for us behind this was we're conscious how quickly technology is evolving and how quickly the expectations of all consumers, but particularly sports fans, is changing. And then you couple that with particularly, we're really fortunate to be a sport that's really popular in India, which is essentially the engine room of a lot of the technology that's developed in the world today. And so we thought, how can we harness all, no doubt, the great ideas, but we definitely know the great skill of so many cricket fans out there to help us find creative solutions to the problems that are facing cricket fans today. And so we're really fortunate to work with a partner like NIUM, who is one of the really forward-thinking technology companies in the world. And when we started to get together, we wanted it just not to be a sponsorship where NIUM puts their logo on something. We wanted it to be something where we could really create things together. And so as we were working through that, I started to talk about some of the challenges I think that cricket fans face, but also that the ICC isn't equipped to be able to answer. We talk to them about where their areas of strength are. We thought, well, if we partner together on this, maybe we can harness that cricket community to come up with some really innovative solutions to to the challenges that technology is throwing towards all sports organizations these days.
Yeah, definitely, Finn. So, as you were mentioning, like harnessing the strength of the community out there, both which is actually into the technology and also a cricket fan out there. So, how do you see the future of this game in terms of technologies, how technology would be impacting, and how the technology has already impacted with innovations like Ultra Edge, Spider Cam? How is it that what we are looking forward to in terms of expectations, setting up the expectations for the participants for the next in hackathon?
Yeah, in some ways, cricket was a real innovator in the use of technology. If you think of things like the DRS system, which is now just accepted as integral in the game, whereas football is still working through how VAR should be best used. In some ways, cricket is well advanced compared to other sports, but in some other ways, and I would say this is particularly on the fan engagement side, if you look at the way that data is interpreted and and explained and analysed for fans, and you compare that to other sports, such as maybe, especially the American sports, I think there's a long way that cricket can go in terms of helping fans understand, what are the things that are changing the outcomes of matches, and what are the really important pieces of data to take away from a match. And then you combine that with just the broader changes in the way people consume entertainment. It was unheard of 15 years ago to watch sport on anything much other than a TV. And now, people have got dozens of other choices really on how that they can watch sport. Dozens of other devices that they could be watching it on, and we're seeing that. And there's even new ones coming, like VR headsets and things like that haven't really been exploited yet. And so it's hard, as a governing body to have the capacity to really stay ahead of that trend. And so, what we don't want is that the technology gets so far in front of the sport that we're not meeting the expectations of the fans out there. So, I guess, a couple of things that, there are a couple of things that are really sort of, that are great opportunities for cricket at the moment, is better use of data and better information to fans, and making sure that cricket has a presence on emerging new technological platforms.
Yeah, as you mentioned, like 10 years ago, no one would have thought like experiencing cricket or any sort of sports other than television. So, how do you think Nextin would proceed? Is it something which would be laying the foundation stone for the future innovation in cricket?
Well, who knows? It depends how good the ideas are, but it's our intent that if people present, a really strong idea, that that our position as the ICC, we can help that progress from being a proof of concept or a prototype through to development. We want the outcome to this to being a product that fans get to experience and elevates the game. That would be our best outcome from it. And whether that's its own standalone product or something that gets integrated into existing ones or gets picked up by some of our partners. As you'd know, we're fortunate to have some of the best partners in the world. Whether it's Star TV, Meta, Sport Radar, and a whole Pulse and Sony, which is part of the Sony group. And we hope all of them, get exposed to the great ideas from this platform, from this competition as well.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, like from our discussion that we have had so far, it is all about enhancing the cricket fan experience, right? The solutions which enhance the cricket fan experience would be valued more than the others which are more into stereotypical solutions, right? Ben?
That's right. We really want people to think fans first and foremost when they're developing their solution. Hopefully, I'd imagine a lot of the people who are going to enter this are cricket fans themselves. So, think hard about what would make your experience as a cricket fan. And, we'll get into the tracks in a sec, but the tracks cover everything from when you're sitting at home through to when you're sitting in the stadium. What is something that would make that experience better for you? And if the answer is it won't, then probably move on to a different idea.
Yeah, definitely, as stated. So, if we are to discuss about the hackathon and get into the details, is there anything that you feel like while a team which is being formed from, let's say, India, or let's say someone who is a forming team in USA out there, what is that one or two odd things that they should keep in mind while coming up with an idea and proposing it to the next in hackathon panel?
Well, I think the first one is have a look around what's in the ecosystem already. Like, obviously, if you're duplicating something that's already out there, then that's not really a great use of your time. Secondly, sort of, we want the good get to market relatively quickly. Like, I don't think there's, we don't want something that's going to require years of sort of development effort to get there. You'd want something that could be executed, ideally at the World Cup at the end of this year. So sort of, and keep that in mind. And so you probably just spend a bit of time thinking about the ICC in particular and sort of what we do. So, we don't do, a lot of work on the ground teaching kids how to play cricket. That's a really important job that our members do. So people like Cricket Australia, the BCCI, people like that are really invested in that. We focus a bit more on that sort of broader, growing the fandom of the game as much as possible. And so, again, a lot of people have great ideas about improving someone's, how to make a player better. That's probably a really valid project, but that's not really what the ICC does. We don't run a team. We're not like Cricket Australia, who's trying to make their team better. We put on great competitions and create the best experiences for fans. So I guess that's probably just some of the call outs from previous experiences I've had in this, where understandably people don't necessarily understand the broader context.
Yeah, so the key takeaways for the teams would be that is the originality of their idea while they are building up something. It should be original and it should be ready to go into the market. That is, the prototype should be ready. And for the last and the most important being the alignment with the tracks, right, Finn?
That's right. Yeah. I mean, like that readiness to market, we're understanding that there'll need to be, some hardening that goes on. But I guess, if people could sort of ideally would be, we think we could launch this for the World Cup in October. That would be that's a great time frame for people to have in mind.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. So keeping those pointers in mind, shall we just jump onto the website and understand and take the participants through what the hackathon is all about? So I'll just quickly share my screen and take all of us through what the hackathon is all about. Yeah, I hope the screen is visible to everyone. So, as we have been discussing, it is the first of a kind global hackathon challenging everyone to enhance the digital fan experience. So, that is what the objective is all about. And when we discuss about the cash prizes, we have got lucrative cash prizes worth $10,000, and there are other exciting goodies associated with it. And who can participate? That's the major question. So, anyone who is a technocrat, I'd say, who understands what Web3 is, who could build solutions on AR, VR, or knows how metaverse works, can come up with solutions in fintech or implement blockchain. It is open for you out there. Anyone who is a human being, age 18 plus, can participate. It's a hybrid nature of a hackathon, which would be completely online until the demo day, which we'll be discussing when we are taking you through the entire timeline. The team members would be 1 to 4. You can participate as a solo member, or you could form a team along with 4 members. When we talk about the entire initiative, it is brought to you by ICC, that is International Cricket Council, along with NIUM. These two have partnered to bring to you an opportunity through which you could come out with the best solutions to enhance the experience of a cricket fan. So when we talk about the themes, the first theme that comes up is the AR/VR track, in which the participants are expected to come up with solutions which are based out of AR/VR and help participants to understand what different could be created from the currently existing solutions on the VR and AR platforms, which could enhance the experience of a cricket fan watching a match from the comfort of his living room or the comfort of his drawing room. So, Finn, if you would like to add something onto the AR VR track of what is being expected from the participants.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I guess we sort of fundamentally believe that, let's take VR first off. We fundamentally believe VR will become, a really engaging platform for consuming content. We also think sport is pretty well suited to, being one of those key pieces of content. Now, we think there's certain inherent challenges in the way that VR is consumed at the moment, i.e., one, headset price is an obvious one, but secondly, and probably more importantly, it tends to be quite a sort of solo sort of experience, and that's not necessarily how people consume sport. There's been lots of people who have tried various ways of sort of watch along with friends and things like that. I'm not sort of leaping to what the solution is, but I guess, going beyond just being able to watch cricket with a VR headset on, how would you use all the other capabilities of VR to enhance that experience of watching a match? One other thing I'd just keep in mind, the ball is quite small. The cameras are a long way from the ball. In other sports, say like baseball, you can get a camera really close to the action because of the way the field is set out. You can put a camera behind the catcher. With cricket, the cameras are always a long way away from the ball because of the oval or the round grounds they're on. So there's some sort of things like that you just need to keep in consideration. So that's VR. It's like how do you, I guess, evolve that viewing experience from what we've all done for a long time, which is sitting on a chair somewhere and either watching a TV or a phone or a laptop or an iPad. The AR one's a bit different because that's more about what other information can you bring in to someone's viewing experience to enhance it. And so, there could be things like when you're sitting in the stadium and you hold your phone up and there's, extra data brought into that. But it also could be, because the AR is going to be using your phone. Think of the situations where people are in and where would that AR functionality enhance their sort of consumption of cricket. And again, use that really, everyone's phone is so powerful now. Really harness that to enhance that experience of watching the game. And that's whether they're watching it on TV or they're watching it, in a bar somewhere, or they're watching it in the stadium. It could be any of those. It could be all of those. But to sort of, again, because you think, we were talking before, like no one has watched 10 years ago, you wouldn't think you could watch sport on a platform other than a TV. That said, the experience really is still the same. It's just on a different screen. So how can we use technology to push that experience forward and harness the power of technology to make that better for the fan?
Yeah, really insightful thoughts put up there, Finn, in terms of how the camera distance plays a pretty crucial point when we are thinking about the VR experience in comparison to other games like baseball and how it would be different for cricket. So, yeah, those are the words which won't get out there, and the teams would look forward to it in such a valuable manner. So, thanks for those comments out there. Moving on next for the fintech track. Fintech track is something which every developer, every techno enthusiast loves to, cause every application they build has some kind of transactions involved into it. So when we talk about fintech track in Next in Hackathon, which is a global cricket hackathon, how different is it from the other fintech tracks, and what is the involvement of the fintech track over here? So Finn, if you could just let us know what is the expectations in terms of the fintech track.
Yeah, so what we're looking for here is how do you leverage, the emerging technologies that are driving fintech to again make that fan experience better. And so some of the things that we sort of think about is, say, when you purchase one of our NFT programs, one of our NFTs in our NFT program, how do you make that super smooth and better for people? But is there a way then that you can, does that ownership of the NFT then grant you benefits in other communities or, in other experiences, whether they're in real life or whether they're online? And so I think that, that solution, and that crosses over into the Web3 bit, which we'll talk about it a little bit later as well. But, particularly sort of, we are a global sport. How can you sort of create new, I guess, payment solutions that solve for the problems of we've got fans who are all over the world. We don't want them having to do currency conversions and stuff like that. Ideally, we've got fans who go to different countries. When India played Pakistan at the MCG, I think there was more than 20,000 people there who travelled to Australia for that game. Is there a way that the ICC can make life easier for them when they're travelling to ICC events? I guess just think through all the experiences that a fan has when they're interacting with the ICC. So for that purchases for us, that tends to be, buying an NFT, buying some merchandise, buying a ticket, buying a subscription to ICC TV. How could you make, at the moment, they're all different payment platforms. They're not connected. But, how do you evolve that from just being a sort of punch a credit card in and get one thing back into I guess a more modern consumer experience that really recognizes their worth as a cricket fan?
Yeah, definitely. So the way digital payments have eased our life and the way integrating it centrally throughout all the offerings that ICC has got is what will ease further the experience that we have already got. And that is how it be evolving. So this is something which the participants should look into, who have some prior experience of building and maintaining payment gateways and transactions. This is something you should grasp onto. Moving on next to the next theme, that is the stadium experience track. So when we talk about stadium experience track, all of us have somewhere or the other experienced the crowd, the enthusiasm, the hurrah of enjoying a cricket match. But how could we enhance that experience? How could the experience be more immersive for a fan sitting in a stadium under the lights, watching his or her favorite cricketers play for their nation, play for their franchises, etc. So, Finn, if you could just set up some expectations for the stadium experience track, that would be great for us.
Sure. So I think there's sort of two things you're trying to do here. So they all start with the idea that someone's bought a ticket and they're going to an ICC match. And then we're looking for things that will either make their life easier. So what are the pain points when you're attending a match, and how can digital or technology take away those pain points and make it a more delightful experience? It might be about what are the other common ones? Queuing, finding food, understanding what's happening on the ground better, things like that. And then the other one is sort of rewarding people for buying a ticket. Like they've gone to the effort, not only the cost of the ticket, but they may have travelled. The experience for everyone, including the people watching on TV, is better when there are people in the stadium. So we want to reward them for that. So what could we do to reward people for attending a match? And we don't want to just give them cash. It needs to be about creating some kind of experience that maybe a digital experience they can only get when they're in the stadium. What could that be? Things like that. So a couple of things to keep in mind. The ICC doesn't own stadiums. We're not in the same country very often. We're in Australia in October. We're in South Africa right now. We'll be in India in October, and we won't be back to any of those countries for at least 3 years, I think. And in the meantime, we're off to America, West Indies, Pakistan, places like that. So the solution needs to be quite easily portable between different stadiums. So, it's just different to the way, a football team or a basketball team which owns its own stadium can create experiences. So just keep that in mind. But I guess the two things here, either make it easier or reward people for going, or do both.
Yeah, as you mentioned, like each stadium is different from the other. And keeping in mind the fact of portability, it's all up to the developers how they build up the best stadium experience for the cricket going fans, and how do they enhance their entire end to end from the point they park their vehicles to the point they just have an entire experience of the match from the comforts of their seat and then return back to their home safely. So this is what it is all about when we talk about the stadium experience track. Moving on, next we have the final track for ICC NIUM Next Gen Hackathon, which is the blockchain and Web3 track. When we talk about blockchain and Web3, the first thing that comes up to everyone's mind is it is the future. So, what is the future and what are the expectations when we talk about this hackathon in terms of blockchain and Web3 track? If you could just throw some light onto it, Finn, it would be great for us.
Yeah, so, this area, is potentially really exciting, but also obviously probably the least mature of all of them. So, quite challenging. Where I think, the blockchain in particular has been really interesting is, giving this idea of ownership and permanence in a digital world, which our NFT program, Cryptos, leverages that idea. We really think that a lot of the things we're doing there are, again, transforming a fan experience, like a fan engagement tool, in a way that hasn't been done for a long time. Fantasy sort of came along, and fantasy was a big change. But then the kind of fan experience from when it went to sort of daily fantasy 10, 12 years ago hasn't really evolved since then. And we think, Web3 really has a chance to do that. Broadly, in a strategic sense, we think that Web3, I'm clustering everything in this, whether it's metaverse, gaming, NFTs, so like it's a broad category. But broadly, we see strategically either doing two things for us. One, it helps us reach a new audience. And so when I say that, I particularly think of things like Roblox, where it's sort of a metaverse experience, where there's a lot of people who are maybe not engaging with cricket, and that gives us an opportunity and a platform to reach a new audience. Or else we're creating experiences for quite hardcore fans that enhances just the fan experience. And I think Cryptos is an example of that. Cryptos community is a community of really hardcore cricket fans, and collecting moments from ICC events and trading them with other people and using them in little games that makes their day better, and it's introduced them to a whole community of like-minded people. And so I guess like our North Star would be, if you can create experiences like that create a community of really happy cricket fans by developing fantastic fan engagement experiences, then that would be amazing.
Yeah, really. It's when we talk about blockchain and Web3, there are enormous amount of opportunities, possibilities which developers can come up to, but it is all about how it enhances the experience, whether it is bringing in a new set of audience or fans for cricket, or is it completely a community-based solution which is helping even more strengthen the community of cricket. So that sums up all the tracks that we have got there. Now moving on, no hackathon is complete without the jury and mentors, because when we talk about hackathons, it is all about how the jury or how the mentor guides him. As you all might have seen, the way the insightful thoughts, the pointers put up by Finn Bradshaw himself right now about each of the tracks, the valuable inputs that he put up for all of us to understand how the ideas could be curated, what are the insights or the lines or the tracks in which we should be aligning ourselves to. So this is what makes a hackathon complete, the jury and the mentors. So we have a huge panel of jury and mentors, starting with Dinesh Karthik. He's a well-known figure in international cricket, as well as represents India in all formats of the game. He would be present as one of the jury members throughout the hackathon, as well as in the demo day, which we'll be discussing later on, as well as we'll be having Finn Bradshaw along with him, and an entire panel of mentor who are skilled in their respective technologies, business domains, who'd be helping all the participants who are shortlisted post the idea submission in building and curating the best output of their ideas. So that is where you should keep an eye on to this section, because the mentors and jury would be added on pretty soon. Moving on next to the schedule, we have an elaborate schedule present for all of us. We had opened the registration on 11th of January. The registrations and the idea submissions would be closing on 18th of February 2023. So we have got some amount of time for those who have not yet decided what is the idea they are supposed to work upon. While for those who have not registered yet, please find your team members. If you feel sufficient that you are capable enough of participating alone, please do register. Submit your ideas. Before even submitting the ideas, please select your tracks. There will be another session on 9th of February when we will be answering the questions that you have got, the Ask Me Anything session, wherein we'll be having another panel of technologists who will be helping you solve problems which you have got in terms of your idea generation. And from 10th of February to 16th of February, there will be mentor hours. So please keep an eye to all the communication channels that are being circulated to you through WhatsApp, through Discord, through email communication, as well as keep an eye on your hackathon dashboard so that you are aware of what is happening when. Once the idea submissions closes, there will be an idea evaluation and the results initial shortlist would be announced on 20th of February 2023. And there would be an induction session for all the shortlisted teams who would be moving ahead to the prototype development phase on 21st of February. When we talk about the prototype development phase, this is where the entire game of the hackathon changes. It is the serious end, or I'd say where the most of the impact is created across the hackathons. So the prototype development phase starts from 21st of February and would end up on 1st of March. During this, there will be multiple mentor-mentee rounds wherein the mentors from the panel would be assisting you in solving problems where you are stuck with the bottlenecks that you have received in terms of developing the prototype, in terms of building the business cases around those prototypes. There will be a couple of checkpoints in this entire journey. That is on 22nd of Feb 2023, we'll be having checkpoint 1, wherein the mentors would be assessing your progress, your ideas, and how well your idea has been built. There would be a final submission of the prototype on 1st of March 2023. And on 2nd of March 2023, there would be a checkpoint on the basis of which the finale teams would be selected. The finale would be happening in Bangalore. The tentative dates for which are right now 12th of March. It would be a demo day, and the final shortlist would be announced on 3rd of March. So this is the entire schedule of the Next in Hackathon. If you've got any queries in terms of schedule, in terms of problem statements or the tracks, you can register your queries through email. The email channels would be circulated here in the comment section of the YouTube, as well as you could directly raise your questions in the community forum. And then the most important part, which excites everyone, whether it is a developer or a cricket fan or a culmination of a boat, the cash prize worth 10,000 is up for grabs for all the winners of the Next in Hackathon, in the order of $5,000 for the first prize, $3,500 for the second prize, and $1,500 for the third prize, as well as tickets for the ICC Men's Cricket World Cup 2023 would be up for grabs. And along with it, there would be certain other goodies and giveaways in form of cryptos, NFTs, and exclusive ICC merchandise to the top 10 teams. So this is what the entire hackathon is all about. As a word of advice, please go through all the tracks, have the timeline in your mind, understand what the hackathon is all about, what are the expectations, go through the tracks, and then come up with the best ideas. The ideas would be assisted, all the evaluations would be presented to the teams, the entire template for the idea submission is present on the hackathon dashboard, which you can download and then work upon your idea submissions. So this is what, when we are covering the entire ICC NIUM Next Gen hackathon. With this, let's just stop this share and then head over to the final few words or the advices which Mr. Finn Bradshaw has for all of the participants and the viewers who are out there in this today's session.
Maybe just before we wrap up, I've noticed a few questions in the comment section, so I'm happy to answer a few of them that'll help people. So maybe I'll just run through a few of them here, and hopefully that'll help everyone. And so, I mean, the important one that everyone's asking, yes, Dinesh Karthik will be at the demo day. So that's probably the greatest incentive, I guess, for most people. We're going to shortlist 5 teams for that demo day, and we will book your travel and accommodation for that event for those teams that get through to that. So we don't want anyone to miss out because they're not able to fund that. So in terms of so a few questions here. So one of them is about what kind of incentives can be used to provide to the users in the fintech track. Think more about experiences. We can give them exclusive ICC experiences, whether that's in digital form or whether that's real life. As I said, stay away from, I think, refunds and giving cash back. Like, I feel like that is not the fast way to creating a sustainable product, but we are the ICC, we run World Cups. Think about what, kind of incentives we can there. But, I wouldn't expect it to be your job to come up with those specific incentives, just assume we can give some. Someone's asked, can you suggest some methods via which we can access the loyalty of users in the fintech stack? We do have a single sign-on at the moment, so we have an identity management program that tracks people across most of our products. So assume there's that, and that we can track whether people are buying tickets, buying cryptos, buying merchandise, things like that, and we know where they're from and things like that. So you can assume that. Asking if it's compulsory to build a game in the AR/VR track, I'd say not at all. If you want to, by all means, but I'm not necessarily suggesting. When I say watch a game, I'm talking about a World Cup match. So it's up to you how you use that technology, but the game is not mandatory at all. Someone asked, is it necessary to build the stadium experience over Web3? No. Again, up to you. Does it? Use the technology that is going to provide you with the best solution. And I would say at the moment, most use cases are not on Web3. Do not require Web3. There's certain things that Web3 does really well. Make sure you understand what that is. For a lot of things, the current web system, because it's much more mature, does it better. So use the best one. For Web3, do we have a preferred language or tech stack? Cryptos is built on Flow, but that's because our partner FanCraze uses it. So if you want to integrate with them, then you should probably build on Flow. If it doesn't matter about integrating with them, or you've got some other proposed method for integrating with them on Flow, go for it. But just make sure you can articulate to us why you've chosen the platform you've chosen. Keep in mind things like cost, environmental impact, stuff like that. Let's see, I'm just trying to read here. Can we develop a betting app in the fintech stack, by all means, just understand certain jurisdictions that won't be able to be used, in particular in our most populous market, India. So go for it in the betting, but just keep in mind when we're considering what's going to be useful for most of our fan base. Most of our fan base lives in countries where betting is illegal, but that's not because VR developers have an edge over other tracks just because of the enormous application of VR. Right. So it's a follow-on to someone saying, "Will there be a separate prize for each track?" No, it's prizes overall. We just wanted to give people options which way they could go. We think all of these are equally important. There's no one that I'm sitting here right now. I wouldn't say one track has an edge over the other. Is there any? Is it? I can't sort of say anything else. Okay, and there's my able assistant Manav here has said there's a question around the judging criteria. Well, it's about when it comes back to that, like what idea do we think will best really improve the fan experience, but also it has a viable path to market. If you've got this most amazing idea, but it requires you to be on Mars. I mean, I'm exaggerating for effect, but if the preconditions are so extreme for that to be able to work that we can't see a path to market for that easily, then it's probably not going to get up. But what we're looking for something where we go, wow, that's really going to make the life of a cricket fan better, and we can see a way that can be launched in the next 6 to 12 months, then that's probably the way forward. And again, just make sure you're sort of across things the ICC has rights for. If it involves something that's great for an IPL team, then that's not really what we're looking for. We're looking for something that's specific to the ICC's events. So I hope that's given everyone a bit of an insight into what we're looking for, and I hope that's just provided more clarity on things. I know the guys have set up mentorships throughout this, and they'll be able to help you refine your ideas and make sure that they're sort of on the right track. But I'm at the ICC, we're super excited about this project. This is the first time we think anything like this has happened in cricket. I know a lot of my colleagues from other cricket boards have reached out, really excited to see what comes of this. So we really hope that this, is the start of both, really exciting new products for cricket fans and something that's really going to push forward the experience of watching cricket, but also, hopefully like a new wave of, technology and innovation in the sport of cricket. I can't wait to see all your ideas.
Yeah, definitely. As stated by Finn, it is all about enhancing the cricket fan experience digitally, as well as there will be an ample amount of mentor panelists who would be helping the teams to enhance their ideas and come up with the best solutions. As we are about to conclude the session, Finn, any word of advice or last words from you to us, so that we as participants out there, or anyone who is having certain ideas about what he should build up, what he or she should build up or develop in terms of the solution, should keep in mind as a last words from you?
I think the solution to every great digital product is empathy. Putting yourself in the shoes of your target market. So just make sure you're always checking back in as you as a fan, or if you're not the biggest fan, your sister, your cousin, whoever is the biggest cricket fan, just keep checking in that it's for them, and that it's got a really viable path to market. Like that's if you answer those two things, then that's going to be a fantastic idea. So hopefully that's inspired you guys and given you plenty of food for thought. And yeah, really, really looking forward to this.
Yeah, definitely, Finn. A lot of inspiration for the people looking forward to this hackathon, to the developers who are looking forward to form teams and come up with the best of ideas. So, thank you, Finn. Thanks a lot for joining in and helping us, the participants out there, and the entire developer community looking forward to this hackathon and helping us understand what is expected of this from the Next Gen Cricket Hackathon presented by ICC and NIUM. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Finn. So with this, moving ahead.
Thank you.
for
Thanks,
all-
thanks everyone for joining us, and I hope to see you in Bangalore.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thanks, Finn. So with this, wrapping up the session for today, we have got a lot of things coming up for you in terms of the timeline. Please do keep a check on the timeline. Your dashboards, email accounts, you'll be receiving a lot of information from our side in terms of the registration deadlines, the idea submissions, the coming up AMA session, as well as how to submit your idea, what best procedures you should follow, the template of idea submission, the shortlist announcement, etc. If at all anyone has certain queries, feel free to drop your mail at nextend-support@hacktheskill.com. For all queries, all sort of information, the email lines would be open throughout the day as well as the community forum. So thank you everyone. Thanks a lot. Do register if you haven't registered yet. And let's look forward to the best solutions, changing the way the cricket fan experiences a cricket match. Thank you everyone. Thanks a lot.
Are you a coder and a cricket lover? Register for this unique hack event, the ICC Next In Hackathon, and get a chance to meet me. Listen up. Listen up, techno cricket enthusiasts. The game of cricket is more than a century old, and tech has been a crucial part to how our game has developed through the years. It's time we take it to the next level.
A huge moment in the game!
Choose your challenge for the ICC Next in Hackathon and submit your ideas by 18th February.